Most people start their day consuming news, social media, other people's opinions about other people's problems. By 9 a.m., they have absorbed hundreds of inputs and produced exactly 0 outputs of strategic value. That is not a morning routine. That is a slow surrender of your cognitive sovereignty. And in 2026, where AI agents become trusted personal advisors and the pace of change has made yesterday's intelligence today's liability, the architect who does not have a daily intelligence protocol is not neutral. They are falling behind every single day. This briefing is Coordinate 0, the protocol that sits beneath every other coordinate in the sovereign architect system. Because none of the income nodes, none of the automation stacks, none of the content strategies we have declassified in previous transmissions work at full capacity without this foundation. 15 minutes, every morning, non-negotiable. Here is exactly what happens inside them. Why 15 minutes and not more? Most productivity content tells you to spend more time on self-improvement, more reading, more courses, more content consumption. The Coordinate 0 protocol is built on the opposite principle: depth over volume, signal over noise, output over input. Research from McKinsey and MIT showed that 95% of professionals now use AI at work or home. But using AI is not the same as thinking with AI. Most people use it reactively, to answer a question, to draft an email, to save time on a task. The architect uses it proactively, to build a daily intelligence edge that compounds over time. 15 minutes is the threshold where the protocol is sustainable indefinitely. More than 15 minutes and compliance drops. The habit breaks. The compound effect stops. 15 minutes is also the threshold where the protocol produces enough output to move the needle, if and only if those 15 minutes are ruthlessly structured. Here is that structure, precisely. The protocol. 3 blocks, 5 minutes each. Block 1, the intelligence scan. 5 minutes. Before you open email, before you check your phone, before you interact with any other human being, open one intelligence source, not social media, not news aggregators, not YouTube, and extract one precise insight relevant to your specific domain and your specific audience. For the architect building in the AI and wealth space, sources include Stratechery, Morning Brew's AI and Tech Edition, Perplexity's Daily Digest, or a custom Claude briefing you have set up to pull the most relevant developments from the previous 24 hours. One source, one insight, 5 minutes. Write the insight in one sentence in your sovereign intelligence log, a document that lives permanently open on your desktop. That sentence is the seed of your next content piece, your next client advisory, your next product idea. The log compounds. Every morning's entry builds on the ones before it. After 90 days, your log is a documented intelligence archive that no competitor has and no AI can replicate, because it reflects your specific lens, your specific audience, and your specific track record of judgment. That archive is a sovereign asset. Block 2, the application sprint. 5 minutes. You have one insight. Now you apply it. Not in a full content piece, not in a client proposal, in a single tweet-length or LinkedIn-length observation, one paragraph that translates the insight into a first move for your audience. This is the content arbitrage engine operating at its most efficient. Raw intelligence in, processed actionable output in 5 minutes, published or scheduled for publication before 8 a.m. The architect who does this every day for 90 days has published 90 pieces of precise, timely, audience-specific intelligence with a total daily time investment of 5 minutes per piece. No other content strategy in existence produces that return on time. Block 3, the deployment check. 5 minutes. This block is about your sovereign architecture, not the outside world. 3 questions, 90 seconds each. What is the single highest leverage action I can take today to move my sovereign income forward? Not my inbox, not my client requests, my sovereign architecture. What did yesterday's metrics tell me that I have not yet acted on? Your dashboard, your YouTube analytics, your email open rates, your automation performance is speaking to you daily. Most people check it and move on. The architect extracts one actionable signal and deploys it. What is the one thing that, if left undone today, would represent the highest cost to my long-term position? That third question is the most important one in the protocol, because it forces priority ranking before the day's noise arrives and makes everything feel equally urgent. Write your 3 answers in 30 seconds each. Do not elaborate, do not plan, just name them. Those 3 answers are your operating orders for the day. Everything else is noise. The compounding math. Here is the calculation that makes the protocol impossible to ignore once you see it. 15 minutes per day. 90 days of consistent deployment. That is 22.5 hours of focused sovereign intelligence work. Not consumed, produced. 22.5 hours of daily insights extracted, applied, and deployed. Each one building on the last. Each one sharpening your market position, your content quality, your client intelligence, and your sovereign architecture simultaneously. Compare that to the average professional who spends the same 90 days, starting each morning consuming 45 minutes of news and social media that produces 0 sovereign output. They invest 67.5 hours in consumption that compounds nothing. You invest 22.5 hours in production that compounds everything. That asymmetry, over 12 months, is the difference between a content creator and an intelligence authority, between a service provider and a sovereign advisor, between someone building on someone else's platform and an architect who owns their position. The verdict. Coordinate 0 is not a productivity hack. It is the foundational operating system that every other coordinate in the sovereign architect framework runs on top of. Without it, the content engine produces inconsistently. The automation stack has no intelligence feeding it. The audience does not grow because the intelligence being published lacks the daily precision that builds trust over time. With it, every other system accelerates. 15 minutes, 3 blocks, non-negotiable. Intelligence scan. 1 insight, 1 sentence, logged and owned. Application sprint. 1 insight translated into 1 piece of audience-specific intelligence, published before 8 a.m. Deployment check. 3 questions, 3 answers. Operating orders for the day locked in before the noise arrives. Start tomorrow. Not Monday, not next week, tomorrow. Because the architect who started this protocol 90 days ago already has a 90-entry sovereign intelligence archive that you do not. The gap is real, and it grows every day you do not start. Drop a comment below. Tell me what time you are going to run the protocol tomorrow. Not which block, the time. 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. A specific time is a commitment. A general intention is noise. Subscribe for weekly intelligence briefings that give you the raw material for Block 1 every single week, so you never have to search for the signal. Share this with one professional who starts their day on social media and wonders why their thinking feels scattered by noon. The protocol fixes that. 15 minutes, starting tomorrow. Subscribe, run the protocol. Transmission concluded.